Hello. So now we're going to look at the next tunnel leading up to Hider Spawn in the museum. So we finished at the end of this tunnel, but really the rest of the route to Hider Spawn is basically in this direction, and it ends once you reach the Hider Spawn room. So basically it's just this tunnel, right? This tunnel basically sort of has an L shape. But we, of course, are going to start at the beginning, which is over here near this really big hay bale stack. So, before we talk about all these really, this really large block pile, right, the first thing we're going to talk about is actually these leaves right here. Because the most common thing to see in this tunnel, from what I've seen, is flower pots on top of the leaves. Right, for instance, like up here, right, something like this, or I guess you can't get on top of these ones, or those ones, I don't think. Yeah, actually you can. I have no idea. It's like up here. These ones you'll definitely see hiders get on top, like right here, like up here. Also, you can see them on top of these ones, like, see if I can get up there, up here, here. Right, anywhere along these leaves you'll find hiders. Right, they can get on top of both of these ones, so like up here, right, all the way up here, and they can get on top of both of these ones. These ones are a little bit more difficult to get on top of, but you'll still see hiders go there. This one you don't want to forget to check. This one's probably the most missed one. To find a hider right here, because typically we just don't take the time to look at typically we don't take the time to turn our heads and look there, or our peripheral vision misses it, right? And so that's really it for the leaves, but it's really common to find hiders there. Okay. So, alright, before we talk about the hay bale stack, also notice this cauldron right here. Right, if you find a cauldron on the other side, right here, that would also be fake. Okay. As for the hay bales, so now we're going to talk about all these block piles. Right, starting with the hay bales. Hay bales is a really big stack, right, bigger than all the ones we've gone through so far. So we're going to try and break through it step by step. I know I've been saying that a lot, but like that's what we do, right? Most common spot in the hay bale stack is actually to find a hay bale in this hole right here. Right, that would be fake. Just like that, right? That's really all it is. Right, that's really all it is. Okay. Now, as for the top of the stack, basically we just focus on the top of the stack, which looks like this. Right? Notice what the top of the stack looks like. If you neglect this hay bale, then this block pile is basically identical to the structure that I showed in the TNT stack at the beginning of the map, which is right here. Right? It's this structure. It's identical to what we saw there. Right? As long as you neglect that hay bale, it's identical. And so it makes it really easy to know what the top of the stack looks like. Right? If you just focus on this, basically, it's identical to it. So any deviations from it, like this, or this, like it has to be fake. So any deviations from that common block pile that I mentioned at the beginning of the game, it's fake. Right? Okay. Also, if you see like a hay bale in the front right here, this is also a common spot you might see. Notice how overall that's 5 hay bales in a row. Right? Way too many hay bales. Also, if you see 3 hay bales in a row on the left side of the stack, it's also fake. 2 hay bales on top of each other, it's also fake. Or 2 hay bales in a row on the left side of the stack. Right? Either one is possible. Can't really think of anything else. Right? That's basically what you typically see. I mean, you might also see a hay bale go right here. Right? This one you don't want to miss. Right? So notice how overall it goes 2 blocks in. 2 blocks in. But if you see it only goes 1 block in, like this, then this hay bale's fake. And that's basically it for the hay bale stack. A lot to look at, but you know, you start out by using radar and get familiar with the different hiding spots you might see, then it makes it a little bit easier. Right? It's basically it for the hay bale stack. Heading over here, this is a little minor, but you do have a note block stack right here. Right? It's not super common, but you might find note blocks hiding in this stack. Right? So that's it for the note block stack. Next, we're gonna keep going onward to this melon stack. Now, the melon stack also looks like a really big stack to memorize. Just like the hay bale stack, melon stack looks pretty big. But if you think about it the right way, it is actually really, really easy. Because, check this out. Observe what's in front of the stack. We have one melon and three melons like this. So again, we have one melon in the front of the stack and three melons in front of the stack. Right? But notice how really, what do we have on the top of the stack? We also have one melon right above the melon in front of it, and three melons right above of the three melons in front of it. That makes it really easy to memorize what this stack looks like. So really, melon here, melon directly above it. Three melons here, but we have three melons directly above it. Right? So it's really important. One melon, one melon. Three melons, three melons. The rest of the stack is literally a rectangle, right? If you ignore those melons and these three melons, right? If you ignore these two pairs, the rest of the melon stack is literally just a rectangle with one missing piece, right? That is right here, right? This is the missing piece of the rectangle. So if you see a melon right here, notice how it forms a really long rectangle of melons. This would be a fake melon. So any deviation from that is a fake melon, right? So really, that's how you do it. Right? One melon, one melon. Three melons, three melons. I keep saying it, but that's really the whole idea. Right? So for instance, if we have a melon right here, it completely, right, it does not match what we have on the top. So that's how you know this is a fake melon. It does not match the melons we have on the top of the stack. Right? So right here, fake. Right? Also, you should never see a melon on the top right over here. Right? Because again, it's no longer a rectangle if you do this. Right? Again, if there's a melon right here, it doesn't match what you have on the bottom of the stack, right? The top and the bottom do not match. Or I should say, the top and the front of the stack don't match, right? And again, if there's a melon right here, it doesn't match what we have on the top, so that's how we know it's fake. Right? The other spot you might see is if you have a staircase of melons on the left side of the stack. Right here, that would be fake. And that's it for the melon stack. Really, again, if you think about it the right way, it makes it really easy, actually, to know if there's a fake one. In fact, I actually just discovered that, like I discovered that trick not too long ago. Not too long ago. And in fact, for the past 2 to 3 years, since I played the game, I never even noticed that that's a way that you could think about it. But that's really all you gotta do. As for the bookshelf stack, right, really small compared to the melon and the hay bale stack. It's really just an L, right? 4 bookshelves that form an L. Any deviation from that's fake, like for instance a bookshelf here, bookshelf right here, like in the leaves, right? Or bookshelves go way too high up, like up here. It's also fake. I've even seen flower pots hide behind the bookshelf stack right here. That's really all it is. As for the note blocks, right? Most common thing to see for the note blocks is to see a note block in front of the stack like this, right? Anything else is usually a flower pot right in here, right? Notice how, as for the bookshelves, the only note block that doesn't have, did I say bookshelf? As for the flower pots, the only note block that doesn't have a flower pot on it is this one. This is the only note block that doesn't have a flower pot. So if you see a flower pot covering all note blocks, then it has to be fake. So this is fake. Another common spot is to see a note block right is to see a flower pot right next to the note block, like this. That's really all it is. You typically don't see any other flower pot hiding here, right? Another way you can think about it, like there's a triangle of flower pots here, right? It's actually a triangle of 5 flower pots. If you want to think about it using numbers, that works too. That's really all it is. But that's really all it is. Okay, so now we go to here. This spot, pretty common. Most hunters know about it. It's like you see 2 bookshelves in a row right here. Sometimes you'll find literally flower pots here. Sometimes even like other blocks, like TNT blocks hiding here as well. Furnaces. Random blocks might hide in this spot. So, yeah. You may also see a anvil hiding on top of this anvil. Sometimes you'll see a flower pot hiding right here. So like you see a flower pot there, it's also fake. You see 2 anvils in a row like this, it's fake. Right, and that's typically all you'll see over there. Notice how you can actually see a flower pot get over here, right next to the well. Sometimes you'll see that. You'll see a flower pot sometimes hide in this corner. Alright, last spot before time runs out. The furnaces. Right, this is the last spot before we enter hider spawn. Most common spot for the furnaces is right here. The other spot is if you have like 3 furnaces on top on the right of the stack, or a furnace to the right of the stack like this. And that's really all you'll typically see with the furnaces. And that's pretty much it. And it ends. Okay, we're good.